We moved into this home in northern Michigan in summer of 1986. I was 12 years old. Stephanie and Tamara were 11 and 7. We moved from Warren, Michigan, which is just outside of Detroit. I was about to enter 7th grade, and you could say it was a bit of a rough start. All these years later, I wouldn't have it any other way. My first memories of Bellaire are along this same stretch of Bellaire Highway from the morning after we arrived. We were driving into town after staying the night at a cabin on Torch Lake after missing the closing on the house the day before. A long-haired hippie-looking guy was walking alongside the road. My dad waved to him, he waved back, and my little 12-year-old mind thought, this might be okay. This seems like a nice place. Needless to say, it all worked out. This home holds a lot of memories, not just for myself, but for the family, friends and extended family, friends that may as well be family, and now the next generation as well. Of course, it's not just the place, it's the people, because a place is only as good as the people in it. Thankfully, a few decades ago, we would start many lifelong friendships here, and we're blessed. Many parts of northern Michigan are very sandy, just like this yard is. Papa let the kids dig a hole in his yard because he's a good papa and he loves his grandkids. They actually made the paper the following year with a much wider, much deeper hole. It's good to know that the oldest toy, dirt, is still popular with kids. I used to run to the school in the morning from that back door there, not for exercise, but because I was often running late, and I would time myself. To my recollection, the record was 1 minute, 27 seconds, from back door to first bell. Not too bad. Anyway, I think the best way to tell you about Bellaire is just to show you. Bellaire, Michigan. It's home to about 2,000 people, located 40 miles northeast of Traverse City, 30 minutes from Lake Michigan, and the coolest little town around here. Everybody knows everybody, and if they don't know you personally, they know somebody that knows you, and that's a fact. Not a whole lot changes here, and that's kind of why we like it. We love our lakes, local sports, hunting, fishing, and rock and roll. Well, some of us do anyway. But we unanimously agree that Torch Lake is the best lake. Traverse City is just a short northern Michigan drive away, and a good camping trip can sometimes be found in your own backyard. If you enjoy all 4 seasons from hot and humid to lots of snow and ice, you're in the right place. Downtown Bellaire has always had a certain charm to it. It's changed some with some of the storefronts changing and some minor construction here and there. But the heartbeat and the core of downtown Bellaire remains very similar to my earliest memories of it. There's been a few changes since the 80s, but I think the biggest changes were when the Bellaire Theater burned down in 1988, which was rebuilt and reopened again that same year. Getting the McDonald's around 1995, and probably the biggest change, Short's Brewery. It used to be the Bellaire Hardware, and I have very vivid memories of going into that hardware store as a kid to get some screws or a certain size socket that myself or my dad needed, with its wooden floors and the mom and pop feel to it. But it became Short's Brewery in 2004, and if you look on the side of the building, they haven't yet painted over the old weathered hardware sign, and hopefully they never will. Otherwise, it's still very much the same small town that I used to ride my bike with my buddies through, and where Officer Baker insisted that he could write you a speeding ticket based on him observing your car and hearing how much road noise your tires made. A few things that haven't changed at all. Ruthie's Dairy Twist still has the same orange and white theme and logo as back then. The Bellaire bar is still there with the same overhead sign as I've always remembered it. And the building on the corner of Cayuga and Bridge Street is still there, which is currently a bistro. But I will always and forever remember it as the pizza place, an arcade where we would buy pizza by the slice, Mountain Dew by the pitcher, and pump quarters into the pole position, Spy Hunter, and Pac-Man video games. Downtown Bellaire is kind of like a Norman Rockwell painting. It's really interesting if you ever go down there between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. because the whole town is literally asleep, and it's so quiet, peaceful, and surreal. It's also a world all its own on a winter evening after a fresh snowfall. I recall one time when I was about 13 or 14, and I was downtown on a summer afternoon riding my bike, as one does. And I was trying to be cool and jump my bike up onto the sidewalk from the curb. Instead, I fell off my bike, mildly hurt myself, and caught the attention of an older couple walking by. They stopped to check on me, and I was okay, although a little embarrassed. I didn't really learn any lessons or anything from that. I just wanted to tell the story. If you ever hear a Northern Michigander reference the Fudgies or a Fudgy, and you have no clue what they're referring to, well, they're referring to these guys. These are Fudgies, straight off the Shanty Creek shuttle bus. For a full explanation of what a Fudgy is, just ask a Northern Michigander. They'll tell you. And there's good old Ruthie's. To this day, it's still a popular hangout, just like it was back when I was in high school. Who doesn't love good ice cream in the summertime? In 2020, much of the world had stopped, and that included the movie industry. New movies just simply weren't being released because not enough people would be at the theaters to watch them, since many of them were closed due to the lockdowns. Those aren't new Jurassic Park and Karate Kid movies showing, they're the originals. What an interesting year. Back in the day, that building used to be Batterby's secondhand store. My buddies and I would go in there sometimes during our travels as kids, just to take a look around. And there was always such fascinating, seemingly ancient artifacts in there, Eventually, Mr. Batterby sold it, and the new owners turned it into that beautiful inn. Bellaire is also the county seat of Antrim County, which is a historical story unto itself. That courthouse was built in 1905 and is still in use today. The Wesleyan Church, as it was called then, was the first church we attended after moving to Bellaire. It was also the first place that I played guitar live when I was 13 years old. The Grand Victorian Bed and Breakfast. There's actually a very interesting story of how that beautiful house came to be and why it never fulfilled its intended purpose. Look that one up if you're curious. Down by the spillway, as we referred to it, was a popular hangout when I was younger, and maybe it still is, I don't really know. When I was in school, it was one of the places selected as the meeting place for a fight. If you wanted to challenge somebody to a fight, the spillway was a good place to do it, because it was centrally located, no police officers patrolled down there, and there weren't really any parents around either. These were the very same reasons that some of the kids used to jump off the cement divider walls into the fluff, even though it was dangerous. I never did. I needed to be sure that all four of my limbs still worked so I could play drums. Richard I. Park is still very much the same, except for the addition of more basketball courts. But in middle school, we used to swim there pretty regularly. After 8th grade, it wasn't cool to swim in that particular lake anymore, although we still swam, of course. But there's plenty of lakes to choose from around here. Some of us won't soon forget the great shaving cream fight of '87 on the last day of school, though. I have very fond memories of playing basketball here at the park in the summertime. It was one of the places to be, whether you plan to play in the pickup games or not. In fact, we used to play pickup games till dusk, which, at the peak of summer in northern Michigan, is somewhere around 10 p.m. But we would play game after game after game on those ball courts. 3-on-3 usually, if we could manage. I have great memories of that, and those were good times. If you lived in or around Bellaire between the late 70s and late 90s, there was a very good chance that either you worked at Shanty Creek yourself or knew someone that did. Shanty Creek is a golf resort in the summer and a ski resort in the winter. I've skied there but never golfed. I worked in the main dining room in the Lakeview Hotel circa 92 and 93, and I actually had a lot of fun with the people I worked with there. That was the last job I had before I joined the Navy in 1993. They had a public recreation room at the time with pool tables, video games, music was always playing, etc. And we'd often meet up there to shoot pool, play games, and just hang out. I remember they had a Dragon's Lair arcade game, which at the time was cutting edge with the graphics. In the late 80s and 90s, Shanty Creek was a popular destination spot along with its sister resort, Schuss Mountain, which was just up the road. They don't quite draw the crowds they once did, but it's still beautiful and people still ski the slopes and golf the courses. And there you see Lake Bellaire. Torch Lake is the crown jewel of lakes in the Antrim County area, with the notable exception of Lake Michigan itself. Swimming, boating, jet skiing, tubing, pontooning, fishing, even scuba diving are all enjoyed on Torch Lake. Because of the lake bed composition, Torch Lake is incredibly clear and beautiful to swim in, even if a little on the cold side, even in August. We don't mind the cooler temps though. We love our Torch Lake. Tubing was Mitch and Jaden's favorite, by far. We couldn't get him off that thing. He would have tubed all day long if we would have let him.
Wait, hang on, I want to jump off. Hey, you should get in the water. Hey, Mitch!
Everybody wave!
Mitch, you should see what the rope looks like underwater. It looks like some cool hologram.
Hey, you kids!
Get off!
Brave man, Mitch.
I'm gonna jump off. Guys, I'm gonna jump off. I got that a little bit.
Help.
Oh, man. Getting beat up by some waves?
Yep.
This is what happens to waves that beat up on Mitch. He hits back. Our neighbors for many years, Bob and Marty McCutcheon, had a small patch of lakefront property on Torch Lake where they took us to for a picnic shortly after we moved in. My memory of that day is fuzzy, although I do remember it was a very tiny lot of property. But it didn't matter because it was theirs, it was beautiful, and us 3 kids enjoyed swimming in the beautiful lake on a nice afternoon picnic. Now we're making memories for our kids on this lake to enjoy for the rest of their lives too. Now that the family has gotten bigger, a typical day at Oma and Papa's eventually turns into organized chaos when we're all together. But we enjoy it, and it's neat to see the kids playing in the same place that us 3 kids made many of our memories.
Oh, I need my own flying machine. Where's my ball one?
Which one? The round one?
I'm gonna not try this now. I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna borrow it. That's small. Papa, how do we hold this one?
Wait. See what I did? I just held it.
I don't love me. Hey, I think the one is going during hover mode. Hover mode.
Throw it higher.
There's one over there.
There.
There's one over there, Janelle. By where you're climbing. Oh.
Bitches. Okay, well, where's your long one? Throw your long one.
Hey, you wanna see? You wanna see?
Let's see it, Elias.
Can you put this on?
Sure. It's already on pretty well. Let's see. You got it mostly. See, oh, you got it too far back. That's why. There we go.
The new Ultra Hover Mode.
Hello. We headed out to the Sleeping Bear Dunes in hopes of going to the scenic overlook, which is an absolutely amazing view overlooking Lake Michigan. But when we got there, it was closed. Thanks, Governor Whitmer. So we headed over to the dune climb. There are pictures of us kids climbing this very same dune climb from over 30 years ago. It's a good workout to get to the top. What we didn't plan on was Greg's niece Jana being there by happenstance. She told us that if we wanted to go to a cool place with a great view, it was about a 20-minute drive away, and she would take us there.
Brady! You're gonna get that stuck all over you.
You want me to take a picture of you, Sam?
So we headed out on an unscheduled adventure. It was about a 20-minute drive. But what she didn't tell us is once we arrived, there's more to go. There was some walking involved. Just a little bit. In typical boy fashion, Elias decided to run off, so we had to go chase him down.
Where'd he go? Steelhead, Meadow, Lookout.
I want to go to both of them.
We didn't realize that we would also be going on a hike, in addition to the 20-minute drive, in addition to the dune climb. Eventually, we reached this steep, sandy hill. The kids were getting tired, and we weren't even there yet. Honestly, I was getting a little tired too. It was a hot day out. Thankfully, we were almost there.
Why, God, why? I thought God was supposed to make us.
If I have half the energy my dad has when I'm his age, I'll be thankful for that. When we did finally reach the top, the trek had been worth it. This was just as good, if not better, than the scenic overlook. This is northern Michigan at its best. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Mitch, come this way. That was a great experience. Now we just needed to get ourselves back to our cars. Thankfully, it's all downhill. You may as well just let them fill up and just empty them once.
No, it's starting to hurt my ankle.
Oh, okay.
That's why I don't like wearing tennis shoes, but man.
Thanks. Yeah.
We're going on an adventure, a fishing adventure. It's actually right down this way. Don't know if you can see the lake through the trees there, but there is one. So that's where we're going. This is the lake that Greg and Tamara's house is on. And Mitch enjoys fishing with his Uncle Greg.
Hey, Mitch. Go sit in the back.
They're leaving me ashore. It's not uncommon for Greg to provide fresh caught fish for the family to eat. Thanks, Greg. Now let's see if any fish get caught taking the bait today.
I would, but
Set the hook a little. Probably gets the bottom, which is okay. Probably gets the bottom. That's okay. That's where we want to be. That's where the fish are. Well, bring me here. I'll get the salad off. Okay. Fishermen never starve. They eat meat or salad. Good. There you go. Reel it in. Hold on. Hold on. Hold your rod tip up. Yep, hold it up. Bring him alongside the boat. Oh, that's nice. Pumpkins. There we go. Bring him over here.
Look at that, Mitch. You reeled it in. Now this next moment,
Hold it like that.
we've all been there.
Got it?
No worries, bud. Good job, Mitch.
It's a nice lean on that side of the boat. Come on.
Okay.
Okay, put them in the bucket.
Good job, buddy.
Nice. That one's a nice. Got a pinch. Like a fist. That's right. You want to let him go? Just dump him over. Did he go?
Here he went. Charlevoix. It's a beautiful town on Lake Michigan. In fact, one of its names is Charlevoix the Beautiful. It's about 35 minutes from Bellaire, and we actually used to go to church there. We still have friends that we keep up with that we first met at church in Charlevoix.
Weird side of sound effects. Like in a scary movie.
Yeah. So this little channel, that's Lake Michigan right there.
Oh, okay. I tagged you in my Facebook post one day.
Okay,
I figured it was okay.
it was. I wanted to show you this view because it's a nice view out once we get to the beach. I gotta get this shot for a second.
Yeah, the boat, is the boat coming through?
Yeah, but it's not gonna, yeah. Here's the drawbridge. Just let me know if I'm about to walk into anybody.
No, there's somebody coming, but they're a ways.
So I've been to this beach many times. It's nice. Nice little beach here.
Guys, wait up!
It looks just like the ocean, doesn't it? Sarah and I celebrated our first year of marriage this summer, and I wanted to show her this beautiful town. I took her to the Weather Vane restaurant and showed her around. We had a wonderful evening and even enjoyed a beautiful Lake Michigan sunset. Wait, there we go. Happy anniversary, dear. Thank you for putting up with me walking around with a GoPro on my head most of the time.
Like, I just
Love you.
wish we could get it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go this way. That's a pretty picture right there. What do you think? Tamara and me watched a funk band here once together. I think it was that same weekend we just were palling around. And if memory served, we sat on this tiered lawn right here.
The sun, water,
Somewhere around here, one of these shops has Mackinac Island style fudge. Oh wait, we need to cross the road again. We'll do it up here.
I honestly haven't smelled cigarettes in such a long time. Twice tonight I've smelled cigarettes.
I smelled weed on my bike ride.
Did you?
Yeah, somebody out between, like, here in Central Lake. Charlevoix holds special memories for me too. I used to work in Charlevoix when I was 16 and used to go there to hang out with friends in the summertime when I started driving. It was good to see you, Charlevoix. Till next time. It had been on and off my wish list for years to get a good, modern, dependable bike. In January of 2020, I drove a few hours up north to Terry's Cycle in Oma, Michigan, and solved that problem. Little did any of us know it was coming in just a couple short months after I bought that bike. I was working from home, which was very stressful, and that bike I bought 2 months prior, it literally saved my sanity. Turns out I really enjoy cycling. I enjoy the solitude, the challenge, the sun, the fresh air, and just having time and space to think on the bike. That first year I rode about 1,500 miles, and the following summer I bought my second bike. A special thanks to Chris up there at Terry's Cycle in Alma, Michigan. Thanks for helping me get going with this. And thanks for solving that GPS situation for me. Now I can't get lost. Now let's go check out some of these northern Michigan roads. My favorite place to ride. In a moment here, you can see that I was excited to hit 30 miles an hour down Del Mason Road. Every so often, we'd head up to Mackinac Island, and we'd always have a great time when we did. This time on our way there, Nevada, who was a brand new driver at the time, was driving the other car, and she hit a piece of debris in the road. It looked like some sort of car part or something, and she ran right over it. I watched it happen, but she kept going and she seemed fine. I remember telling Mitch, who was riding with me, I'm surprised she didn't get a flat from that. That could have easily caused a flat. A few minutes later, we got a call. They got a flat from that thing she ran over in the road. So Mitch and I had enough time to eat lunch, launch the drone, and take the ferry over to the island before they even arrived on the island. Now we were just waiting. One thing that makes Mackinac Island special is that the only motorized vehicles you'll see on the island are an ambulance and an occasional golf cart. That's it. Other than that, it's bicycles, horses, and your own 2 feet. There's a lot of history and natural beauty here, and it's always fun to spend a good day on the island.
I know what they call it.
Want to see some of it? Okay, let's go. I wanted to be sure to get the view from atop Fort Mackinac, and I explained to the ticket girl that I wasn't going to tour the fort, but that I just wanted to get to the top of the stairs to get a video from the overlook. She said rules are rules, and that would be $15. Filmmaking is expensive. The fort itself is a real fort, built by the British, and used during the Revolutionary War and beyond to control the Straits of Mackinac. In 1895, it was handed over to the state of Michigan and became Michigan's first official state park. They've done a fantastic job of maintaining the history and keeping it alive for us to learn about. Mackinac Island, it's a special place, and we've made several memories there.
I think you're that smart.
I think you are too.
I thought that was smart.
Opened in 1957 and nicknamed the Mighty Mac, or the Big Mac, this 5-mile-long bridge was a game changer to get back and forth to the UP. and it was envisioned for decades before it actually became a reality. I do recall walking across it at least one time for the Memorial Day walk. I was probably in 7th or 8th grade. The Bridge Authority is hiring if you're not afraid of heights. Tamara and Heidi were wanting bikes, and I actually found 2 used ones for a great price online. But they were at the very tip of the Leelenau Peninsula, which is nearly 2 hours from Bellaire. I'd never been all the way out to the end of that peninsula. You know what? It's absolutely beautiful, with rolling orchards, wineries, and shoreline properties. Dad and I went, and that was a good little road trip. The girls got their bikes, and they were glad to have them. We made a pit stop so I could put the drone up to get a view of West Grand Traverse Bay on the way back. Dad, this is the footage I took when we stopped. Thanks for the road trip. What is it about northern Michigan? Is it the natural beauty, like this great little spot on Torch Lake in Alden, where I like to go sometimes to catch a sunset? Is it the slower pace of rural life? Or maybe it's the sincerity of the people there. For many, it's a place they enjoy coming for a visit. For us, it's home. It's part of who we are. I've been to a lot of places, and there's still no place quite like home. The year 2020 will live on in our memories for years to come, for many reasons. Some good, some bad. But when we look back, I pray that we remain thankful for the time we shared together, the memories we made, and for the beautiful places that we're so blessed to call familiar.